Welcome, everyone, to Story with Diala. I'm so glad you're here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's amazing story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the family. Everyone thought I was crazy. People laughed whenever I said I wanted to become an actress. They said dreams like that were meant for people with rich parents, famous relatives, or powerful connections. Not girls like me. Some told me to stop dreaming. Others said I should focus on finding a real career. And honestly, I couldn't blame them. I had no backers, no connections, no support, nothing. But while everyone around me thought I was chasing an impossible dream, none of them had any idea what fate had planned for me. Because they say there are billions of people in the world. But what if there were billions more, living lives opposite to ours? My name is Sandra, and this is the strangest thing that ever happened to me. Ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming an actress. Not because I wanted fame, not because I wanted money. I simply loved telling stories. Whenever I watched movies, I imagined myself on the screen. I practiced scenes in front of my mirror, cried over imaginary breakups, and accepted invisible awards in my room. But dreams don't always come easy. I had no connections, no rich family, no famous relatives, no one to introduce me to producers or directors. And after every audition I managed to attend, I heard the same words, "We'll call you." They never did. Eventually, people around me started saying things like, "Be realistic, Sandra. Acting isn't for people like us. Just find a normal job." I smiled whenever they said it, but every night I cried because no matter how hard I tried, my dream felt further away. One night, after receiving another rejection, I sat by my bedroom window. Tears rolled down my face as I whispered, "I wish things were different." And then I fell asleep. The next morning, everything looked normal. My room, my house, my neighborhood. Until my mother walked in. She barely looked at me. No smile. No good morning. Nothing. That wasn't my mother. Well, she looked like my mother, but she wasn't. Something was wrong. As the day went on, I realized everyone had changed. The sweet people were rude. The quiet people were loud. The generous people were selfish. Everything was the opposite. And then I saw her another Sandra. She looked exactly like me, but unlike me, she had everything. Her parents were famous. She lived in a mansion. She had connections with directors and producers. There was just one problem. She hated acting. She hated cameras. She hated fame. And she hated the life I desperately wanted. When she discovered who I was, she stared at me like she'd seen a ghost. "You actually want to be an actress?" she asked. More than anything, she laughed, but there was sadness in her eyes. I'd give anything to escape it. And that's when we both realized something. I wanted her life, and she wanted my passion. Slowly, we became friends. She showed me movie sets, introduced me to scripts, taught me everything she'd learned growing up, and every night, we talked for hours. One day, I asked her something. "If you have everything, why are you unhappy?" She looked away and quietly said, "Because dreams that are handed to you don't mean much when they're not yours." Then she looked at me and smiled. "But seeing you talk about acting, it reminds me that dreams are supposed to make you happy." Months passed, and somehow, she became the sister I never had. But one evening, the strange mirror that had brought me there began to glow. It was time to go home. Neither of us wanted to say goodbye. She hugged me tightly and started crying. "I don't want you to leave." I cried too. "I don't want to go." Then she whispered something I'll never forget. "Sandra, promise me you'll never give up." I nodded through my tears. "Promise me you'll chase your own dream too." She smiled. For the first time in my life, I think I know what that is. And then I was back in my room, back in my world. At first, I thought it had all been a dream, until I noticed something. I wasn't waiting anymore. I stopped hoping someone would save me. I stopped wishing for connections. Instead, I picked up my phone and started making my own videos. People laughed. Some relatives called it a waste of time. Friends stopped supporting me. But I remembered her words. Never give up, so I didn't. Months turned into years. Years turned into opportunities. And one day, I stood on the stage of an international film festival, holding the award for Best Actress. As tears filled my eyes, I looked at my reflection in the trophy. And for just a second, I saw her, the other Sandra, smiling, not sadly, not regretfully, but proudly, and somehow, I knew somewhere in another world where everything is opposite, another Sandra was living her own dream too. And as the audience applauded, I realized something. Maybe I never needed rich parents. Maybe I never needed backers. Maybe I never needed someone to open the door for me, because sometimes the person who changes your life is another version of yourself, and sometimes the only person you need to believe in you is you.